So we're going to continue with this insight on wisdom. Book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 1.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. A false balance is an abomination to Yahweh, but a perfect weight is his delight.
So we all know that. Just weight and balance. Everybody get the same thing. Right. Consequences come on one as they come on the other. Okay. If you're selling me some grapes, you selling me a pound of grapes, you can't sell him a pound of grapes for $2 and me a pound of grapes for $5 just because y'all like him a little better. He get a pound for $5, I get a pound for $2, I get a pound for $2. We all know that. Let's keep going.
When pride comes, then comes shame, but with the lowly is wisdom.
Why is that? Because what happens is when it comes to pride, your pride doesn't allow you, or our pride doesn't allow us to hear. So what happens is we end up having to learn the hard way, and we end up getting embarrassed. A lot of times when people are telling us something, you know, depending on who that message is coming from, we tend to kind of block that message out.
Right.
I don't really want to hear from him. I don't really like the way he say it. I don't really like the way she say it. Who she thinks she is, she can't tell. And then that's your pride coming in. I know this. I've been involved in this all, and your pride comes in and you don't really hear. Oh, yeah. So what happens? You don't really hear, and then when that punishment comes upon you, then you get embarrassed when the punishment comes upon you, because now everybody looking and everybody laughing. But what they saying is but with the lowly is wisdom. That person who can hear that word. That person who can learn from your experience that you already been through, rather than having to learn the hard way. Yes. My mother used to tell me, if you don't hear, you'll feel. Oh, yeah. You know what that means? If you don't hear what I'm saying when I'm trying to tell it to you this way, then we're gonna have to go to plan B. Yeah. And when in my mother's house, plan B wasn't never the nice plan. Plan B was, we used to get that belt. She used to get that belt because she had two big boys that she needed to deal with, and she needed to make sure that we understood. Yeah. We grew up in Fort Greene Projects, one of the roughest projects out there. She had to make sure we understood. That's right. And that was her way of making sure that we understood. Come on.
Verse 3. The integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perverseness of the faithless shall destroy them. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. That's right. The righteousness of the sincere shall make straight his way. You know
and I just stopped him in the middle of that, because what you're going to see in those next couple of verses is a lot of times what a lot of these proverbs are talking about is personalities and character traits, and in some cases character flaws, which they're teaching us how to recognize certain things. Right. So back when he started in verse 3, and when he said, the integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perverseness of the faithless shall destroy them. Meaning, because that upright person already has certain things in them, or her. They already have that moral basis in them. So they always know what they could come back to. Yeah. But the perverse person is always going to go back to their perverse ways. The perverse person is always going to go back to what they know. Right. I guess it was maybe about a month ago, I was reading. And I don't usually read, so that's like a breakthrough for me. I was reading about Good Times. Anybody heard of Good Times? Yeah. The show Good Times? Yeah. JJ and all? Right. Good Times. Hanging in the child line. Good Times. Something, Good Times. Ain't we lucky we got them?
We lucky we
Good
got
Times. So they was talking about the mother and the father on Good Times, who was John Amos, and Esther Roll. And after the first couple of seasons, they didn't like the direction in which the show was going. Now, I'm talking about this because one of the things that this is just my personal opinion, but I think that the Most High God puts certain things around us for a reason. Everything isn't just because. And I think that the Most High God really wants us to see the wisdom in every situation so when we go up there and we talk about the news, we talk about the news because of the aspect of the wisdom and how it can help us.
That's right.
When we watch things and when we see things, we talk about it in the aspect of the wisdom and how it can help us. And so when I'm telling y'all things that I've read or seen, I'm telling you because, like, a lot of times I don't watch much TV unless it's like a basketball game, football game, something like that. Right. But you watch certain things and you can't help, when God is that strong in your life, you can't help but seeing certain messages and wonder the certain messages that the Most High God is sending you. Amen. So this issue came up about, like I said, good times. And so the mother and the father, they didn't like the direction that the show was going. Okay. Because what they said is, they said Good Times was supposed to be a family show about black people who were suffering all in that time. That was the 70s, right?
Yeah, 70s.
You know, they were struggling, 70s Chicago, and it was supposed to talk about those various problems and issues that black people were going through. Right. That was what they thought the purpose of the show was supposed to be. Okay. But what started to happen is they started to focus on the character JJ. And everybody knew JJ. Yeah. Dynamite. Everybody knew JJ. And so they thought that the mother and the father thought that JJ was just acting too much like a buffoon.
Exactly.
Quote unquote.
Quote unquote. Yeah.
So he was acting like a coon. That's what he was doing. And so they didn't see the benefit of what that show was supposed to teach black people. They only saw the demise of what that show taught black people, because what happened is then everybody, you know the catchphrase, we always good for the catchphrase, so people was walking around talking about dynamite. If I ain't had that surgery on my knee, I would have jumped up and did it like JJ used to do. You know what I'm saying? But that's what people were talking about. And they felt that Good Times had a negative image on black people when it was supposed to be a positive image on black people. So what did they do? Both of them held out and said, we're not continuing with this. We're not coming back for the next season. So now, if y'all remember Good Times, what happened was the father was supposed to go to some other state, and he was supposed to get a job, and he was supposed to move everybody. That was them starting the replacement of the father. So what they do? They killed the father off, and now they started to focus the show on the mother. So now, even though it was the mother and the father together, Esther Roll and John Amos, now he off the show, she got a few extra dollars, so she kind of continued. But then after a while, she couldn't take it no more. And what did they do with her? Then they roll her off the show. And then they focused on JJ and Walona was big at the time.
Yeah, Walona was the star, yeah.
But then what happened? Ratings started to go down. Yeah. Because people wasn't watching it like that no more. So now what they did was, in them replacing the characters, because they were trying to show that black man and that black woman, you don't run nothing here, and one monkey don't run no show, and we will replace you. That's exactly what they were trying to show. But the ratings started to go down. So now we got a problem. So now the father he was already not coming back. He couldn't come back. He was dead. He was in an accident, so he couldn't really. I mean, this ain't like All My Children where, you got a Dr. Drake Ramore that could save him or nothing like that. So he couldn't come back. But the mother came back. But at that point, it was too late for the show.
Nobody was watching that show.
So the lesson in that I got from that was people tried to take stands, but listen, when that's not a part of the agenda and what they trying to push, they just wrote them right out. But then what did that also show me? Obviously, Mr. James Evans, started to get hard up for money for a little while, because now I don't understand how John Amos took such a strong stand on black pride and all of those different things, and now he playing a biracial gay lover on 2.5 Men. How you change up like that, bro? What happened? But it's just to show you that the wisdom in it is that, listen, when we go to take those stances, we need to take stances together. And when we take those stances together, we need to stay together. Throughout thick and thin, regardless to what happens. Because what's the college? Was it Missouri? Missouri? That they didn't like the racial tension that was going on. So what happened? The basketball team said, we not playing. The black students said, we won't eat. And they stuck with that, and they stuck with that until the president resigned. Because what does that tell you about the people who we under? Money is the only thing that matters. And once you start affecting the money, then they will overturn it for everybody. Because listen, I know you got to protect complexion for the protection, but right now your complexion ain't green. So listen, we need to do what we got to do. Listen. So he right, because they gotta play tough. I'm not gonna do it because that's that standoff. That's that us against you. I'm not gonna do it, but sure enough. Come on.
Middle of verse 5. But the wicked shall fall by his own wickedness. The righteousness of the upright shall deliver them, but the faithless shall be trapped in their own crafty device.
Again, because what it's telling you is that which is what's in you will either save you or destroy you. That's you. Certain things are just you. And a lot of times we as a people, we need to recognize who we are. Sometimes you just need to sit back and just kind of think about it. Because it's real easy for us to recognize certain things in other people. That's the easy part. But the hard part is us looking within ourselves and saying within ourselves, maybe I'm not really the best person out there. Maybe I'm not really doing the best thing and the most productive thing. And you have to recognize that within you. Because when you don't, then you fall into that same category in number 2, where it says, when pride comes, then comes the shame. Because you get embarrassed because certain things are just you. Recognize who you are. And make those changes in you for the good of you. Because that's the only person that is going to benefit is you. Come on. 7. When the wicked man dies, his expectation shall perish, and the hope of strength perishes. The righteous is delivered out of trouble, and the wicked comes in his stead. Because the Most High God takes care of his people. Most High God takes care of his people, and what it said, the righteous man that was supposed to walk down that block, and he decided, you know what, I left my 4 friends at home, let me go back. And somebody else came down that block, and that evil that was theoretically supposed to happen to that righteous person, he was delivered out of it, and that wicked person got caught up in it. Most High God take care of his people. We need, again, I know a lot of times we look at that concept of righteousness and all of those different, I know it's hard. Certain things are just hard. When you're not used to it, certain things are just hard. I understand that. It's hard to make changes. It's hard to all of a sudden start from watching TV on Saturday morning cartoons to not doing that no more. It's hard. But at a certain point, we as men and women need to make the decision on what our benefit and what our strength is going to be, because we know who the Most High God is going to protect, because he said it all the time. And I know a lot of times as it relates to the children, and they say, when the children grow up, and then that's on them, and so on and so forth. You're right. That's on them. Unfortunately for mine, I don't subscribe to that to me. So if mine are 50 and they live in wherever they at, and if I find out that they doing stuff that they have no business doing, then I'm gonna get my Well, the number don't really matter, but I'm going to get my 70, I'm just going to throw out a number, my 70-year-old self up, and I'm going over there because even though you're out of my house, you're still my responsibility.
That's right.
Even though you're out of my house, you still are an embarrassment to me when you don't act right. Because when you don't act right, they still gonna say, you know, Zacar's son was doing such, such, and such, or Zacar's daughter was doing such, such, and such. At no point do you escape. At no point do you escape the wrath of God. Therefore, I'm responsible for you until. I'm responsible for you until.
Right.
You know, we need to reel things in a little bit. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that might mean that we need to spend a little bit more time in the house versus out the house.
Yes.
Because we need to start to make more of a positive impression.
Okay.
Instead of going out, I mean, again, ain't nothing wrong. I don't mind going out, having a drink, and hanging out with the friends. Sometime maybe you need to cut one of those 2 days out and go out and have a soda with the boys, or have a soda with the girls, because now is the point when there's so much going on and everything is going haywire. And you know, the problem is kids are different then than it is now, because like now, then what we used to go through is, look, we got the worst beatings, we got the worst. My mother used to yell, she used to do all that. And my mother's the nicest mother I ever met in my life. She used to yell, she used to beat, and she used to do all that. And after she yelled and beat and did all that, when she felt better, she'd be like, now come give me a hug. I ain't feel better. I was still reeling from that belt that you just lashed me with about 15, 20, 30, or 100 times, depending on how strong you felt that day. But these days, like, you start yelling at kids and they just start to
break down.
Like, are you serious? I mean, like, sometimes I come in and you come in with the face and you see certain things, so you start to address certain things, and now everybody walking on eggshells. Like, man, let's just be easy, because I'll be about to go ballistic right now. And I ain't even that. You know, I come home, I want to spend time, but then if you see certain things out of place, you got to deal with it for what it is. And unfortunately for me, I'm sorry, I don't really have that sweet, cute, teddy bear baby face, father face, no cut off, shaved beard. I don't have that. My face is my face. So when I come in and then look a little crooked, that don't mean I'm angry. But I still have to deal with what I have to deal with. And like I said, kids just get so, you know, and frazzled, all that. Wasn't like y'all. We need to toughen up. I know we might need to lighten up some, but kids need to toughen up some too. Because if y'all got the beatings that like some of us got, let's say, if y'all cracked and folded over, if y'all crack and fold over a look, man, listen, man, whoa, 2x4. I don't know, 2x4. We got switches. I mean, we got switches, you know, where you had to go out and pick your own switch. And the worst ones, we got to know it. The worst ones was the green ones.
Yeah, they don't break.
That they were still moist.
Yeah.
So when they whip, they go like they whip. We used to try to get slick and get like a branch, but the branch didn't work, because as soon as you get hit with a branch, it just broke.
Yeah.
And after a while, parents got used to that. But I mean, after some of the beatings I got, I felt like saying my name was Toby. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just like, for real. But I'm just saying, that's what it was. And maybe times are a little bit different, but and discipline needs to be a little bit different. But we can't just give up. We can't just give up and act like it don't exist, because that's not gonna make the situation better either.
That's right.
So we need to communicate. When you go and you broke my favorite whatever. Look, don't hide it from me, because I'm gonna find it. Just toughen up. Come in and tell me. Be like, look, I broke it. And then we deal with it. Because if you tell me you broke it, I might not be as mad. No. But if I find pieces in the garbage and some under the couch, then I'm going to be real mad. Because I got to piece the whole thing together to figure out what it is.
And you know what you did.
I'm just saying. And the whole time you already knew. that you was the one that broke it, and you sitting in there playing video games or watching TV, and you know you broke it. You know what y'all need to start, I know y'all got advice for parents, what y'all kids need to start doing, if y'all broke something, y'all need to put yourself on punishment. That's what y'all need to do. I come in the house, y'all need to be sitting in the dark, just not doing nothing. I'll be like, what happened? I put myself on punishment. I broke such and such, I know I did it. It'll make life much easier. Come on. Come on.
Verse 9. With his mouth the impious man destroys his neighbor, but through knowledge shall the righteous be delivered. When it goes well with the righteous, the city rejoices, and when the wicked perish, there is joy.
Everybody happy. Nobody like wicked people, man. Nobody like to be under that oppression. Excuse me. Come on.
11. By the blessing of the upright, a city is exalted, but is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked.
Just by his mouth. You know, I'm funny about the places that I frequent. Unfortunately, even amongst Israelites, because, and I know those kind of hard conversations to have, and there's probably a lot of people thinking right now, where he going with this? But listen, sometimes you just got to say what you got to say and let the chips fall where they may. Amen. But, you know, I'll start out with this part of it. Do y'all remember this whole story about the suicide bomber, the female, that it said that she came out and they had whatever conversation they had, and then either she blew herself up or they shot her, depending on which news story you heard. And so what actually happened is the brother of the person that they still looking for came out, and they started to talk about this girl, and they started to say, this girl wasn't no real Muslim like that. They had pictures, because, you know, the media gets everything. Yes. Facebook and social media and all that stuff is all out there. So what the media automatically did, because propaganda is trying to show and depict these terrorists as being something other than what they're trying to claim to be, right or wrong. I'm not talking about right or wrong, I'm just talking about propaganda. Okay. So what the media did was the media came out, and the media had pictures of this suicide bomber with tattoos all over her face, on her arm, and what they were saying was she, a couple of weeks back, was just photoed drinking, smoking, partying, hanging out, and having a good time. Muslims ain't supposed to drink. Muslims ain't supposed to be partying like that. But what was propaganda trying to show? They were trying to show that you say you so righteous, but look at this one particular person and look what they did. So that's what they trying to show. This was a nasty, lustful female that was doing whatever she did 2 weeks ago, and then she came, threw on a hijab, strapped the bomb to herself, and came out and want to call herself doing something righteous and something upright. So I ask the same question. If Muslims don't accept that from their people, why should we expect that from ours? Why should we accept that? Why should we accept people who go and do whatever they do Sunday to Thursday, doing all types of lascivious and egregious acts? Give me your word again. I added one to you. Even one for you. Nice. And then come here and try to be as holy as you want. That's right. Why do we accept that? Why should we accept that? At a certain point, our standards need to be higher than that. Let me not say we. God don't have to accept certain behavior, and he said he won't. That's right. So why should we accept something that God said he won't accept? Right. Okay. Why should we do that? Okay. How everybody else get the benefit that, people do everything, people do anything, and then they come and then we can still sing and dance and jump around with all of those different people, as if God didn't say, my soul hates the iniquity at the solemn assembly. Why we do that? I'm just saying. And again, I know that for me, I can deal with certain things for me. So if that means that I have to kind of be off to myself and so on and so forth because people don't really agree with the stance that I take sometimes, then that's fine. And that's for me to deal with. That's for me to go through my life, and that's for me to deal with. But at no point can I not say what need to be said. At no point can any of us afford to sit that speak before God. Can any of us afford to sit and act like some of these atrocities don't exist? We can't do that. We can't do that. Don't get quiet on me. It's okay, because we're going to go through the rest of the Proverbs and we might laugh a little bit more. Might not. I don't know. Depending on how long y'all hold on to whatever y'all hold on to for what I'm saying right now. But what I'm saying is, we don't have to accept that. I don't know about it. My God doesn't accept that. When I read all through the book of Kings, and when it said that they had foulness, and I'm going to use a Chief Uzziel word, debauchery, and all of those different types of things, God never accepted that.
No, he didn't.
So why should we accept it? Why should he accept it now? What makes you think he's going to accept it now?
Right.
I'm just saying.
That's going to bring the truth.
I'm just saying. You know, I know Morey Yiftach stood up here. No, not Morey Yiftach. Was it you or was it Mac?
This morning?
One of y'all. I forget. One of y'all. One of y'all said it. Talking. Oh, it was Mac. Chief Mac Ubaya. God. Jesus ain't God.
That's right.
So why we try to act like with those Jesus-like, Christian-like feelings? Don't judge me. Let who is without sin cast the first stone. Let's do that. You don't know. You don't know my heart. You right. I don't know your heart. But I know your ways is wicked. Because I can see it. I don't need to know what your heart. I don't need to know your heart. I see your ways. And that's what Proverbs show. Proverbs causes you to be able to look at people and recognize certain things through all of the rationalizations that people can come up with to justify why it's okay for them to be sinful.
Right. That's right.
So you find it, and so you see it, and you recognize it. Because if you look at us as a people, we have the most unrational reasons for everything unacceptable that we do. And we supposed to understand, other people are supposed to sit and understand that you just whatever. That just show that you just don't have discipline.
Right.
That show that maybe you ain't ready for God yet. Maybe that's what that show. If you could make up excuses to go to the Million Man March, and if you could make up excuses on why harlotry is okay, and if you could make up excuses why adultery is okay, and why we should let all of these people in, then let's just, instead of going here, then let's just all go to CCC, because at least they have a much bigger place that we could all worship in.
Yes.
Right.
Because it's the same thing, and we all in the same bag. And the best part is they even got ATMs, and they got their own parking lot, so you ain't got to worry about getting a ticket. But I'm just saying. I can't, look, behavior, we all know what's right and wrong. It's those subtle things that we get caught up with. But the problem is that we get conflicted. The reason that we get conflicted is because we know God is good. We know God gives us everything that we need. But somewhere deep inside, we just like to be nasty just a little bit.
That's right.
Just a little bit.
I don't get it.
And we don't think none of us is really that bad. But we got those things that we just need to hold on to because we just can't get rid of it. Or we can't get rid of the friend that has that evil within them. And we don't like to call people evil because who are you to call people evil? I knew you back when you was 19 and I seen you and you used to... You got me. You got it. You're right. When I was 19, that's what I did. Probably did it in 2021 and 22 too. Maybe. But I'm just saying, at a certain point, we need to stop rationalizing and accepting what we know deep down inside that God is not going to accept. And that's the key. You know deep down inside that God is not going to accept it. How you know it? Because he said it.
Yeah, that's important.
I'm just saying. Come on.
Verse 12. He that despises his neighbor lacks understanding, but a man of discernment holds his peace.
It's okay to not, you don't have to like everybody, but you ain't got to blab it off to everybody too.
That's right.
If you have an issue with a person, that's just between you and that person. You ain't got, everybody don't got to know. Come on.
13. He that goes about as a talebearer reveals secrets, but he that is of a faithful spirit conceals a matter.
I'm one of those. I know Israelites need a community. And again, I'm going to always probably be the oddball because I'm going to say this too. I know Israelites need a community. I recognize that. But I also recognize that I don't want to live around Israelites. Because my personal business and the things that happen in my house is my personal business. And I'm not talking about wickedness, but what I'm saying is if I have an argument with my wife in my house about whatever, I shouldn't have somebody coming to me next Shabbat talking about, man, oh man, you know what I'm saying? So what, she burned the spaghetti a little bit. It wasn't even, I mean, did it have to really go to that point, huh? Come on, everybody, I'm just, and that's what it is. And that's my response. And that's what Israelites do. That's what, no, let me not say that. That's what nasty Israelites do.
Right.
That's what Israelites do that don't have nothing to do.
Make that clear.
That's why back in the days, that's why people need to work. And that's why people need to go to school. And that's why people need to sew and they need to cook and they need to get a farm garden thing in their house, and that's why Israelites need to do all of that, so you don't have no time to be in nobody else's business.
That's right.
Because we got too much time on our hands. Too much time. What they say, idle time is the devil's workshop. That's how it go. You got too much to do. You got too much to do, but the dishes ain't done. You got too much to do, but the electric bill ain't paid. But you got all of this to do, and you got all of this to talk about.
Yes, sir.
I'm just saying. Talebearer reveals secrets. Okay, so what? My son messed up and he got a 65 in gym. He got a 65 in math, I meant to say. He ain't really get a 65 in math, I'm just saying. You don't got to look at me like that, though. You ain't got to look at me like that. I mean, they did just talk about report card week, too. But I'm just saying, if he got a 65 in math, that's for me to deal with. And that's for us to go and try to help him and tutor him. I'm just going to use the example because I know you can't do nothing about it to me. That's when we need to tutor him so that he can get better. Not make him feel bad about getting a 65 in math. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Man, I mean, the father's smart, the mother's smart.
Right.
What happened to him?
Right.
I'm just saying. We don't need that. We need encouragement. We need encouragement. And I just to clarify, what you got, a 90 in math, right? 90 what? 95? 90 what? 92? 90. Okay, you got 90. I just want to clear that up. I want y'all to think I was picking on him, even though I was, but it wasn't true. It was just an example. Just an example. Come on.
14.
Don't worry about it. We could go get some ice cream after Shabbat. Get some ice cream after Shabbat, make you feel a little better.
Where no wise direction is, a people fall. But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety.
Where no wise counsel is, people fall. Because sometimes you need to be able to look at a situation, and it's not for one man to make a decision on. Sometimes you need a broad range of ideas so that y'all can figure out the best course of action for whatever the particular situation is. All right, I gotta hurry up. Come on.
15. He that is surety for a stranger shall smart for it. But he that hateth them that strike hands is secure.
Come on.
A gracious woman obtains honor, and strong men obtain riches.
Right. Gracious woman obtains honor. So if you walk in the streets and you got your Israelite gear on and you got your turban on, or however you rock it, and you got your long skirt, they have no choice but to speak to you like, "Shalom, sister, how you doing?"
Show you respect, that's right.
They might still be on a nasty tip, but they still got to do it in a respectful way.
Yeah.
But if you still getting cat calls hey, baby, then I'm just saying, maybe you need to kind of check yourself. Maybe you need to check yourself. Maybe you need to tone down a little bit, or tone up a little bit. Something. Something need to change. Heard this comedian say, if you keep attracting no good men, I ain't gonna even say the rest, because anybody who heard it know what the rest was. Come on.
17. The merciful man does good to his own soul, but he that is cruel troubles his own flesh.
Right. Because what happens is, when you are cruel in nature, it's in you, and you can't rest until you done just cause some type of problem or some type of issue. You can't rest. Come on. 18.
The wicked earn deceitful wages, but he that sows righteousness has a sure reward. Steadfast righteousness tends to life, but he that pursues evil pursues it to his own death.
Right. And that's the things that we get caught up with, and you know it. When you following after these things that you know have nothing to do with what Israelites do. And you're going to follow it, and you're going to follow it until it destroys you, because you can't get a grip and you can't go nowhere else. That's your Jones. That's what you go to. Come on.
20. They that are perverse in heart are an abomination to Yahweh, but such as are upright in their way are his delight.
That's the good thing of God. He knows what's in you. He knows what's in your heart. So for all of those people who say, you don't know my heart, God do.
Yeah.
And that's why he deals with you in the way that he deals with you, because he knows your heart.
Amen. Sorry.
Come on.
My hand upon it, the evil man shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall escape. As a ring of gold in a swine's snout, so is a fair woman that turns aside from discretion.
Gosh. Talk about gosh. I'm talking about the finest, prettiest,
right,
most graceful. Come on, throw me some names out there. He said Alicia. I heard Alicia Keys this morning. Let me get a Beyonce. I get a Beyonce. Let me get another name. I can't. Man, y'all can't think of other names. I'm just saying the cutest. Serena. Whoa. Serena. She too dark. She is dark. She is dark. But I'm just saying that ain't me. I'm just saying she's dark. But nah. Yo, can we focus back on the lesson? Get back to the lesson. But I'm just saying, the sweetest. See, you see what you started? Now you got people looking at me funny, and they ain't gonna even be able to listen to what I'm saying now, because you got them thinking I don't like dark women. That's untrue. Exactly. My wife is dark. Listen, he's talking. He just talking. He just mad because he almost fell off the chair this morning putting up the sign. But I'm just talking about the sweetest, the finest thing that you ever want to meet. And you walk up to her talking about, how you doing? And all types of profanities and nastiness come out her mouth. Nastiness come out her mouth. No discretion. How you doing? I'm just saying how I'm doing. I had a F word day today. I've just had enough of this. How I'm doing. And then, whoa, excuse me. Okay. I'm just saying. Finest thing. Female with no discretion. Finest thing. Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez fine. And got a man every other week. Jennifer Lopez. No discretion. Finest thing. You know what happens to the fine. I could go with Kelly Rowland. I'm just saying. Fine. No discretion. Another man. Halle Berry fine.
No discretion.
With a man every year. New man every year. No discretion. After a certain point, and I'm going to stop and I'm going to try to say this in a real serious and calm way. After a certain point, I honestly and truly hope and want women to understand and realize that after women have been with a certain amount of people, it becomes just that much more difficult for you to find a good man. Because a lot of good men don't want to deal with all of that. I'm just telling you. No discretion. Be by yourself for a little while. Take some time to yourself. No discretion. It's like a jewel of gold. I'm talking about a nice hoop earring. Try getting that out of pig nose. Get ahead and walk through that pig pen and try to get that out. That's how I let you hide. Forget about the fight. It's not even a fight. Just walk through that goss pig pen and you know, try to get that out. Nasty. Gross. Fair woman with no discretion. Come on.
23. The desire of the righteous is only good, but the expectation of the wicked is wrath. There is that scattereth, and yet increases, and there is that withholdeth more than is meet, but it tendeth only to want. The beneficent soul shall be made rich, and he that satisfies abundantly shall be satisfied also himself.
Right, because when you give, God gives back.
That's right.
When you give and when you help, God gives back. And when God pays you back, the increase on that loan, man, oh man. Come on.
26. He that withholds corn, the people shall curse him, but blessing shall be upon the head of him that sells it.
You don't even got to give it away. Just sell it. We got the means to buy it, but don't just hold on to it. Let it go.
27. He that diligently seeks good, seeks favor, but he that searches for evil, it shall come unto him.
Yeah, when you looking for it, you'll find it. And the worst part is that it's going to be as good as you imagined that it was going to be. And then the consequences that come from it is going to be worse than you going to be able to bear.
That's right.
Come on.
He that trusts in his riches shall fall, but the righteous shall flourish as foliage. He that troubles his own house shall inherit the wind, and the foolish shall be servant to the wise of heart.
Come on.
The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he that is wise wins souls. Behold, the righteous shall be requited in the earth. How much more the wicked and the sinner? Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. All honors, praises, respect, acknowledgement, and thanks I offer unto the great King of the universe, to the God of our fathers, to the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzchak, and the God of Yaakov, thanking him for all things and everything. Shabbat shalom l'kol.
Shabbat shalom.